Tim Booth from the Associated Press. Javon, you obviously had a good offensive game, but how important was the defensive effort you had against Jonathan Stark and being able to keep him from getting his shot going?
It wasn't just me. We got a lot of different guys that can guard. Our main focus was to stop him, make other guys beat us, and we just did an unbelievable job of team defense.
Teddy, Ed Marlowe, the Paducah Sun. Post play, how much did you guys talk about working inside to the paint to attack Murray State's forwards in their front court?
Yeah, we knew that the way they switched or the way they guard screens, that one of the two people setting the screen down there would be open. So we just tried to exploit that.
Any other questions for the student athletes?
Aaron Torres with The Athletic for Javon. You know, you've been in West Virginia here now for quite a few years. What do you think the atmosphere within the state will be like back home for such a big game with Marshall next on Sunday?
They're going to be ready. They're going to be ready to see a battle. Two very good teams going up to play against each other, in-state rivalry. And we'll see what happens.
For both of you guys, I think you guys had 6+1s where you got 3 points out of the play. You guys were both instrumental in that. How big were those plays? And, I mean, you always want to get those opportunities, but to make the baskets when you need to and getting the +1, how big is that?
Just being aggressive. Our coaches always tell us keep our head on the rim when we're going up. When you get contact, shoot it a little harder. And when you get it in, those N1s, it stops momentum. You know, other teams put their head down, they start arguing amongst each other. It's just big for momentum change.
Yeah, like JC said, just coach always telling us keep our head on the rim, and when you get fouled and you have an opportunity to make it, those are buckets you got to convert because those make a big difference.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, thank you, gentlemen. And now we'll continue with Coach Huggins. Any questions for Coach Huggins?
Abraham Jewett, Daily Aztec. How are you able to keep your team so focused? Like Javon and Teddy were saying, you never let Murray State get within striking distance, really, in the second half. You kept the pedal to the metal.
Well, I think we were either playing too fast or we weren't real focused early because we missed how many shots around the rim. We just couldn't get any to go in. And could have been we're playing faster and we're capable of playing, or didn't have our head on the rim. But these guys, you know, led by Carter and Miles, they like to play, and we've made a conscious effort of trying to find guys that like to play. So much easier to coach, so much easier to have in practice. You don't have to fight with them all the time about playing hard. So I guess it's about 4 years ago, we just made a very conscious effort that we're not going to recruit guys that we have to beg to play. And so I think that's a big part of it.
Bob Todd Leonard from the Union Tribune in San Diego. Carter had a pretty good stretch there early in the second half where he had a basket, he had a steal. Is that the kind of play you would expect from him at this stage in his career and in the tournament?
Yeah, I walking in, I got the questions of, you know, how proud are you of him for the job that he did? And I'm like, you know, I'd be shocked if he didn't play that way. He plays that way all the time. He plays that way in open gym. But he's always done that. I mean, that's not something that he acquired here. He's always done it. He did it when he was in high school. So it's kind of expected, you know.
Coach, Ed Marlowe, the Paducah Sun. The Racers, you've coached in this conference before, in the Ohio Valley Conference, and I don't necessarily know if they were ready for you guys and your physicality. How do you guys practice that, simulate it, build it? How do you guys create the pressure that you guys do?
Well, we work hard on the pressure, but the physicality part of it, I don't think we do. We used to, but we don't anymore. Now the rules won't let you be physical, so we've really tried to back it off.
Kyle Waniger at ESPN.com. It's been a few years since you guys played Marshall. I was wondering if you could share why that series stopped being played and if you anticipated it at some point resuming during the regular season in the future.
I don't really want to get into the reasons. And they can come to Morgantown anytime they want and play. We'd love for them to.
So you guys would only be open to it resuming if they played a home game for you guys?
So I don't want to get into all that. So you're trying to get like all this, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bite on what you're trying to do.
Any other questions for Coach Huggins?
Over here, Mitch,
Hold on.
talking to the mic.
Got a question here first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I saw him waving over there. I didn't try to do your job.
I'm just trying to do it for a minute. But we will defer, and you can ask
thank
the
you.
next question.
Thank you. Just wondering the status of D'Angelo. Notice he wasn't out there today.
You have to give your name and affiliation.
Mitch
No.
Vingle, Charleston Gazette Mail.
He's not here.
Is he going to be with the team in the future? Or?
He's not here.
Okay.
Coach Todd Leonard, Union Tribune.
Hey, Todd.
Carter's play on Stark in particular, can you speak to that? And I mean, you really held him. And then Miller obviously had a great game for them. What kind of athlete was he? Kind of seeing him up close.
Well, Miller, we kept telling our guys for whatever it's been, 3 or 4 days, that he can shoot, and that's what he does. And he's a 40% three-point shooter. And for some reason, they didn't believe us. And he had a great game. Shot the ball extremely well, rebounded the ball extremely well. 17 rebounds. JC's deal is this: we see it all the time. You know, he doesn't practice. I'll tell you real quick. The reason I recruited him is it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm at Disney, you know, for the AAU stuff, and I got a cup of coffee. It's early. And I got to walk all the way to the back gym, and I sit down, drink my coffee, and there's a guy out there pressing. Now, you know, most of the kids don't want to be there; they just want to get it over with. He's out there pressing full court, and did the whole game. And I called my assistants and said, this is our guy right here. This is who we need. And I didn't care if he could shoot or dribble. You know, he just played so hard, and obviously he can do both of those. He works. You know, he's a guy who on game day will put in an hour and a half shooting the ball, getting ready for the game. Now, obviously can't do it here, but when we're at home, he puts in he's there an hour and a half before, and does it every game.
Can you speak to his progress as an offensive player, what you've seen through the years with that?
He's become a much better shooter. He's become a much better ball handler. He's become a much better decision maker. But he wants to. You know, he's a guy who will come in and study film, see where he could have got other guys the ball for an easier shot and didn't do it. You know, he's a basketball junkie.
In the back.
Coach, Nick Farrell, WV Illustrated, 23 points from your bench today. How valuable was Teddy's play?
Well, I told him before the game, we're 7-0 in the Big 12 when we have 4 guys in double figures. We had 4 guys in double figures today. So that's important for us. It's important that we spread it around.
Aaron Torres with The Athletic. I know you didn't want to talk about kind of the politics involved with West Virginia Marshall, but what do you think for the people of the state, for the fans of both fan bases, this game will mean for the people?
It'll be fun. They'll enjoy it. They should enjoy it.
Any other questions for Coach Huggins? Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. I say one other thing for you guys that like. I've got great respect for Danny and what he's done. I mean, he took over. They were down, and I've got great respect for him as a coach. Mark Klein, I've known since he was in high school. I've known Scott Rizzo forever and ever and ever. So I mean, this is not a Hatfields and McCoy thing. You know, I mean, we have great relationships with both staffs. That you have to understand that they are almost 4 hours from us, so it's not like we're next door. You know, I was at Cincinnati for all those years, in Cincinnati Xavier. I mean, we were a mile and a half from Xavier's campus. We're 4 hours away. I'm not sure what the mileage is, but you know, but you follow them and you see what they're doing, and I think they've done a terrific job.